I raised day-old broiler chickens to market-ready size in 6 weeks with minimal losses. In this video, I'm going to show you how I was able to achieve this. Raising broiler chicks is one of the fastest ways to make money, but only if you do it right from day one. So in this video, I'm going to take you step by step through how to brood, how to feed, how to manage the health of your chickens and manage them generally, so that by the end of 6 weeks, they will be healthy and strong and ready for the market for good price. Now, to start with, let's talk about brooding. One may ask what brooding is. These chickens are hatched and they are taken from their natural environment. For the natural environment, the mother hen will sit on these chickens and keep them warm. So when we are doing brooding here, we are giving them almost that same experience. And what we do is to create a temperature room where the chickens can feel that same kind of warmth from their mothers. So they need to have a heating or a form of heating system. So in that room, we separate it and keep it smaller, and we fix in lights. Okay, we fix in lights. Mostly you can use the onion bulbs, the yellow one, which is really strong. Okay, where you can fix these things and then also possibly give them some heat from coal, okay, coal fire, so that the whole place is heated up enough for them to be able to feel like they are, still under their mothers. We lay newspaper prints on the floor for them, and then we put their feed so that they know what the feed is later on from the sawdust we normally put in the room to keep these chickens. So we are going to do this brooding for 7 days. And within these 7 days, we are giving them the vitamin water, and then also they are going to have their food until the end of the 7th day. At the end of the 7th day, now we open up the space. Okay, the brooding period is over. We open up the space and then allow them now to freely move around the whole area. Now, by the 7th week, you see that their wings are beginning to show up or come out. Then you know that, yes, indeed, they can be out of the brooding area now. Now, let's talk about feeding. Like any other mammal, for them to grow, they need to feed. But then these are day-old chickens you brought in. How do you feed them until maturity? Okay. From that point of day one, the moment they come, you start feeding them. But what kind of feed do you give them? It depends on every period of their life cycle, the kind of food they need to eat. You have to decide what kind of feed you want to give them. But then, at the beginning, from day old, they are supposed to take the what we call the pre-starter feed. So from the pre-starter, okay, the name suggests that there's a starter. Okay, good. So from the pre-starter, from day one, we feed them until that feed, it's not really huge. Sometimes it's just about 2 kgs or 2.5 kgs. So you feed them that for like a week because they are only 100. So that 2.5 kg will be enough for them for like a week. And then once you are done with that, we introduce the starter feed itself. And we gave them the starter feed from that particular day, the 9th day, up to the 27th day, which was about almost the 4th week already. So so the 2nd, 3rd week was the starter feed that we gave them throughout, up onto the 4th week when we introduce what we call the grower feed. So the grower feed has been introduced now in the 4th week. So you keep feeding them that until the 5th week. Once what you have is almost done, you now then introduce what we call the finisher. Remember, by this time, they are 5 weeks already, getting to 6 weeks, which means that you are getting them ready for sale. Now, one thing you ought to know, you should never wait until the feeding level or the feeding, if it's a starter or if it's a grower or if it's a finisher. You don't let the grower or the starter or the pre-starter finish completely before you now introduce the new feed. when it's left with about, let's say about half or let's say a quarter of the bag for it to finish, you now introduce the old one, you mix it, the new one, you mix it with the old one and start giving them, and then they move into the next stage of their feeding. That is how you can do it to attain maximum result. And please note, there are various types of feeds out there. Make sure you are asking for the one that can give you the best result. There are some that are cheaper, but they may not give you the best result. And there are some that are expensive, but may be the best for your chickens. And now the feeding pattern, you can choose to feed them 3 times a day or 2 times a day, depending on you. But remember that we are doing only 6 weeks. So if it's only 6 weeks, you need to feed them maximum so that they will be able to, attain the weight you want in 6 weeks. I tell you, if you feed them right, sometimes maybe 3 times a day, you can get a good weight by 5 weeks and you can even sell. But some can even go up to 7 weeks. And remember, if you are going beyond 6 weeks, you can still do the finisher. The finisher is the last stage of the feeding system. If you need more information about any of the topics to do with the feeding, to do with medication, to do with general health management, comment that and in the comment section, and I'm going to pass on the information I have freely to you. And we're going to give you free tutorials on how to go through your first 100 broiler chickens to hit the market. And please don't forget to subscribe.